Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Golden Astrologer Podcast. This is Deb McBride, and today is Sunday, the 9th of March in the year 2025. And I am recording this in beautiful, lovely Escazú, Costa Rica, where the bougainvillea are in bloom outside my window. And we have a big week ahead. So we have just been through the first week of Venus retrograde. And we are now contending with the rest of the things that are coming in March, that are coming up very quickly for us as we get to this week ahead. Now, the big news is there's an eclipse, and it's a lunar eclipse, and it's on Friday the 14th. Friday the 14th, the eclipse will occur at 2:55 a.m. Eastern Time, which is now daylight time as of this morning. And it's the sun in Pisces, which we know because it's Pisces season, and that will receive an opposition from the moon in Virgo. And these are what we call mutable signs. So Pisces is mutable, Virgo is mutable. These are flexible signs. And we have a lot going on in this area of the zodiac of Pisces right now because of Saturn and Neptune and this whole action of going from Pisces to Aries, and some things are going backwards from Aries back into Pisces, and Saturn and Neptune are going from Pisces to Aries. Although Saturn's going to take longer, Neptune's going to do this at the end of the month. So there's a big theme here. There's a big theme. There's Pisces to Aries, and I talked about this before on previous podcasts, but we're watching this happen now because the eclipses first are in the Pisces area, Pisces Virgo, because the sun is in Pisces, and then the next eclipse will be in Aries. So we're going from Pisces to Aries. Now, that's normal for eclipses to not occur in the same sign and to be in two different signs because they're a couple weeks apart all the time. But what we're looking at is Venus and Mercury. You know, Venus is in retrograde in Aries, and she's going to go back into Pisces. And Mercury is going to basically do the same thing. And so we've got Neptune and Saturn going into Aries, and they're going to go back into Pisces too. But that's not going to be till much later this year. But the fact is, the theme is there. It's like War and Peace, you know. Pisces wants peace. Pisces wants healing. Pisces wants imagination and intuition. Aries wants to charge ahead. So this is a very complicated and intertwined time for the planets. The fact that the inner planets are going to be retrograde at the same time, and we just finished Mars and we just started Venus, and now we've got Mercury happening on Saturday the 15th. So the day after the eclipse, almost 24 hours later, Mercury will retrograde at 2:46 a.m. Eastern Daylight Time, on Saturday morning the 15th of March, the Ides of March. And so Mercury is going to station at 9 degrees of Aries. Venus stationed at 10 degrees of Aries last week. So they are floating around the same area, and essentially Mercury is going to station retrograde on Venus, which is already retrograde. It's not going to be exactly on Venus, but it's going to pass over Venus and then do the dance and then go back. And they are going to be very close to one another. So this is one big, juicy situation, okay? And we're only a few minutes into this podcast, and we're already dealing with a whole lot of astrology. So let's take this piece by piece. The first thing is we're having an eclipse this week. So these are the big events of the week. We've got the eclipse, then we've got Mercury retrograde. And we're going to be looking at the eclipse from the perspective of the fact that it's in Virgo. Okay, that's Virgo is where the eclipse occurs because that's where the moon will be. But the moon is going to be very close to the south node. And so this is what we call a south node lunar eclipse. Now, or a lunar eclipse at the south node, whichever you prefer. Now, we've got old habits die hard at the south node. Virgo qualities are what we want to acknowledge but not ingratiate, right? We don't want to keep getting gratified by Virgo qualities because the North Node is in Pisces, the opposite sign. And this is where our energy and our focus and our fulfillment will be. We want to direct our energy towards Pisces. We want to direct our energy toward the areas of the Pisces energy, the imagination, the creativity, the visual visionary qualities, the instinct, intuition qualities, the experience of trusting and having faith, which Virgo wants to fret and worry when it's the South Node. And the moon may bring up things that create fret and worry. And we don't want to indulge that. You've got to look at it, see it, put it down, and focus on the Pisces energy, because that's where the sun is. And the sun is going to be between Saturn and Neptune. So when we look at this eclipse that's happening on Friday, we've got a whole lot, we've got this cluster of things going on in one area of the zodiac, and then there's the moon on the opposite side. So that moon at the South Node is going to do its best to loop us in to the old behaviors, the worrying, the fretfulness, the micromanaging and control. Pisces says, I don't have control. Pisces says, there is no control. The universe has control. I don't have control. Because Virgo is all about the teensy weensy little details. It's about those micro details and overthinking. So when you feel yourself in the midst of overthinking during this week, or as we rev up to that eclipse, you've got to put a halt to it, step back and walk it back a little bit so that you're not feeling like you're being pulled into a vortex of never-ending overthinking, because that's what an eclipse at the South Node can do. Worrying, overthinking, especially around matters that you want to control. One of these could be your health, because Virgo is a health-oriented sign. So if you feel things around your health worrying you, what if it's this? What if it's that? What is this, on my skin? What did it? You can start to spiral and turn it into anything, right? But the idea is to not do that. And it might be really taking a lot of conscious effort to not spiral into overthinking. It's complicated. Previous to the eclipse, the eclipse is Friday, on Wednesday the 12th, we're going to have the Sun-Saturn conjunction at 6:29 a.m. Eastern Time. And that is an annual event. Every year, the sun meets all the planets, but this time around it's Saturn, because Saturn's in Pisces and the sun is going into the degree that Saturn will be. Now that means it's going to pass Saturn. It won't have reached Neptune yet. It will reach Neptune next week, not this coming week. We'll talk about Sun-Neptune next week, because it'll be 19th Wednesday. It'll be a week after it conjuncts Saturn. And so it's going to be in this place between Saturn and Neptune, between discipline and between relaxing and letting something go, between, focus and reality and hardcore facts to trusting and having faith and believing in something greater than yourself. So this is where this energy is revealing itself to us. It's all about faith on the one hand and no faith on the other, or little faith on the other. Saturn is not a faith-oriented planet. It could be a confidence-oriented planet. I have the confidence, I have the stamina, I have the ability to do this. And, I have to trust, Neptune, that I can get this done the way I would like to. This is something very deep that we have to contemplate. Where do you have the boundaries that Saturn requests and requires us to have? And where do we have the place where we cannot assert boundaries? With Neptune. Neptune is boundaryless. Saturn is all about boundaries. And where is it obvious to us where reality, as we see it, this 3D reality, is an illusion, and that illusions, and that this is an illusion, that what this world is an illusion, is the reality of things, okay? This is the riddle of Saturn and Neptune so close to one another. And this riddle is going to continue as they get close and get conjunct. They're going to be very, not exactly conjunct this year, but close to it, very, very, very close to it. Next year, they're going to make the conjunction, the exact conjunction. But we are really in this tidal wave of Pisces as it transforms into Aries. So what are those themes about? Because we're going to watch 4 planets do this. The immediate ones are Venus and Mercury. The secondary ones are the outer planets and the bigger, longer lasting transits. Pisces is about our vision. It is about surrender. It is about having faith. It is about peace. It is about going somewhere to rest, whether it's the garden, your bed, the hospital, or the yoga ashram. It's about those places. It's also, it's that house, the 12th house that is Piscean, is about institutions. It could be prisons. It could be, like I said, hospitals. It could be places of rest like, I'm going on retreat. I'm going to a retreat center. I'm going to eat very well and nurture my spirit and my body. I'm going to go on silent retreats and just be quiet and meditative. This is all Pisces realm. Pisces is a quiet realm, right? Pisces is not something where we're going to be getting all sorts of fireworks necessarily, although things with Pisces are hidden and insidious. Things come up out of the woodwork. They come from behind our back. Things going on behind our back can be Pisces, whereas Aries is a full front confrontation. Aries is not the piece of Pisces. Aries is, I'll show you. Aries is very much about direct energy. It's the warrior. So we're going from war to peace, from war to peace to peace to war. This is what we're dealing with, and we're going to be dealing with. This is a major theme of this year. And so this experience of Neptune entering Aries for the first time in like 168 years is going to happen about the 30th of March. So we've got several more weeks until Neptune steps out of its own sign for the first time in all these years and steps into Aries. It's not going to stay there all year. It will retrograde and go back into Pisces again. And next year, it will finally go into Aries. But it's teaching us something. And it's showing us how our vision is changing. And it's at the end of the zodiac. It's 29 degrees now. This is the end of the zodiac. We're finished. We're finished with the zodiac. And then it goes into Aries, right? This Aries is the beginning of the zodiac. We're going to have the equinox later this month. That's when we switch from Pisces to Aries. We do this every year at this time. But this is a special occasion because Venus will go from, it went from Pisces to Aries already. It's going to go from Aries back to Pisces. And then it's going to go back into Aries again, right? And then Mercury's going to do the same thing. It was in Pisces. It went into Aries. It's now in Aries. It's going to go back into Pisces. And then it's going to go back into Aries again. And Neptune and Saturn will follow the same thing. The sun will not. The sun is going to leave Pisces and go into Aries. Not this week. We're still in Pisces. But this is the turning point of every year. This is the turning point we experience every year, except we're going to experience this by 5 planets. One of them is the sun that we experience every year. We've got others joining us this time. And this is a very potent shift forward. Their energies are so different. Aries is all about, I'm going to stand up, declare my name, and put my foot forward. And I'm going to initiate this new process. It's the initiation. It's the rites of spring, when the sun does this. And that point is that turning point when we end one cycle and we begin another. And we do this every year without really thinking about it consciously, but not with two planets, not with two big planets that have been in one place for a really long time. So this is a combination of things. It's a lot of feelings because when we end the zodiac in a major way, like with Neptune and with Saturn, inevitably, we're going to have a certain amount of anxiety about this, or anxiousness, shall we say. I don't want to say it's medical, clinical anxiety, but it is restlessness. It is something that we're not comfortable with. It's something that we fear on some level, unconsciously. What is this? Why am I waking up in the middle of the night, just like when Pluto left Capricorn and went into Aquarius for the first time 2 years ago? If you're waking up and the birds are chirping and you shouldn't be awake that early, or the birds aren't even up yet, this is par for the course right now. This is Neptune getting into the last moments of its own sign. And so there is the unknown, the qualities of what comes next. We have no idea. And I think that Neptune in Aries is a very strange concept. Think of Aries as Mars. It's all about Mars. It's all about this incredible, force forward. It's, the sun is exalted in Aries. It's about fire. It's about strength. It's about stepping forward and initiating combat. But Neptune doesn't do that. Neptune acts behind the scenes. Neptune comes through the back door. Neptune doesn't ever step forward and declare something. Neptune declares something and you find out later, what happened? You're kidding me. What? So this is deep. We're in this swirl of water and then going into fire. So Neptune is part of that. Later this year, Saturn will be part of that. Saturn being the structure that doesn't have form in Pisces, and then goes into Aries, a sign that is not really its favorite sign because it's exalted in Libra. And then we're going to experience Saturn with Venus when Venus makes the dance between Pisces and then Aries. And Venus and Neptune have met already, and then they're going to meet again. And then when Venus finally finishes the retrograde, she's going to meet Neptune again in Aries. So this is a lot of transitional energy. This is asking us to look at our lives and see what's in transition right now. What chapters are ending, what chapters are beginning, where things have been the last 12 years or so with Neptune in Pisces, the last 3 years with Saturn in Pisces, and Venus and Mercury are tying up the story. They're making it, I think, a little more accessible to us. These are inner planets. These are the personal planets. Mercury is going to do the same thing. It's going to go dance with Neptune. It's danced with Neptune already. It's going to go into, Aries. It's in Aries. Then it goes into the retrograde, which happens this Saturday, the 15th. Goes back into Pisces, dances with Neptune again, goes back. This is a lot of movement from these planets. Mercury goes direct April 7th. Neptune will already be in Aries. Mercury will meet Neptune in Aries. This is transition. This is a major transition. Every year we have some transition when we go from, if you live up north, it's from winter to spring. If you live in the southern hemisphere, it's the transition in the south from summer to fall. So we are looking at the big transition in a grander scale. So what's transitioning in your life? And where are you possibly having nightmares unconsciously about making this transition? Where do you get freaked out about making this transition? How does it feel to you when you're going to sleep at night? People keep saying to me, people are calling me and saying, hey, you see what's going on in the world? Well, the world's really crazy right now. Again, I mentioned this a few weeks ago. Yes, there's Pluto. There's Pluto having gone into Aquarius and bringing up all the dark side of Aquarius. And people are just like, the world is unstable. This is part of it too. Outer planets, when they make these transitions, they bring up a lot of instability. So the best thing we can do is we have to follow that north node where Neptune is right now and where the sun is going. And they're going to be asking us to please have faith. We have to have faith. This is a major, major step forward. Having faith is part of this and allowing things to take place the way they are supposed to. Having faith in something greater than yourself. You can't give up. None of us can give up right now. There's too much at stake and there's too much that's changing and shifting and growing and moving. So where is this in your chart? Where in your chart does 0 Aries happen? Where does that happen for you? That's a big place of transition. That's a big place of power. That is a place of power for you in your chart. Because 0 Aries is the world axis. And so, yes, there's going to be some collective things happening. There's, like I said, there's transitions in the world. There's going to be things happening in a major way in the world. We're going to watch these things. They're going to play out for a long time. Okay? Don't think it's going to end in a few weeks. But when we look at our own charts, we're experiencing this personally. And so this is why I think the personal planets give us like a taste of how to manage this in our own lives. Because this isn't just a global stage thing. This is personal as well. It's Venus and Mercury. And how are you adjusting to this? What is shifting and changing for you? Where does that 0 Aries point happen? Where does that? It's like a magical moment. I know it's like the world is not magical right now, Deb, but you have magic and you have divinity within you. So that is where you can turn something around in a heartbeat, where you can turn it around, where you can look at something that might appear to be falling apart and turn it around and it lives and it grows and it becomes. Where is that turning point for you? Where is that sense of magical shift that goes from I don't know how I'm going to get through this to it's a new day? That's what we're dealing with. That's what the taste of this is. That's what the feeling of this is. It's a new day, like from the old day to the new day. Pisces, 29 Pisces is where we're at our wits' end. We can't do it anymore. I can't carry this burden. I don't know what I'm going to do. I have to put everything down and just surrender and just go to sleep. And you wake up and it's a new day. This is a powerful, powerful metaphor because like I've said before on this podcast, my teacher used to say that 29 Pisces is where Christ is on the cross. And it's that deep Catholic image of Christ on the cross and, and then there's the resurrection. Okay? It's the rites of spring. It's the end of winter. It's the rebirth part of the zodiac. Yes, Scorpio, Pluto, they're about rebirth. Yes, because there's the other part of the zodiac when things are dying off, like the autumn is coming and trees are dying, the leaves are falling, and we're honoring the ancestors and that kind of stuff. This is different. This is, we're surrendering and we're on our knees and we are saying, God help me because I just can't do it anymore. God help me because I just don't know what to do anymore. I just don't know. I don't know. I don't know. And that's like a dark night of the soul. That's like a dark night of the soul. We have to have faith that the sun will rise again the next morning, and we are seeing, feeling a new, fresh energy. So this is what we're dealing with over and over and over again. So that 0 Aries point is powerful. It's powerful, and we are going to feel it over and over again. We haven't had Venus slide back there yet. That's not happening this week. But when we have the eclipse, we're getting a taste of this because the sun will be very close to the end of the zodiac. And while the eclipse is in Virgo, this is why I'm saying there's that fretful, whoa, it's like you're being taken somewhere into the unknown and you don't know where you're going. So you have to put your faith in alignment with the universe, God, Goddess, Mother Nature, whatever you believe in, and connect with letting go, surrender, and how that feels, and just give it to the universe, give it to God, because any sense of trying to control something is just going to fall flat right now. So let's look at this with curiosity. Let's look at this as goodness knows I'm going to be renewed after this. There's a renewal coming, that I'm going to feel better after this. And that we're going to move through a place of, ooh, that was a ride now, wasn't it? And then there's this relief and renewal after this. So this is what's so important, is we're getting to that place of, I can't hold it anymore. God, you hold this for me. And that's what the South Node in Virgo is doing. It's like, oh my God, I just cannot do this anymore. Please just take this from me. Remember that if you go into some sort of despair, if you go into some emotional funk, if you're in a bad mood, if someone pisses you off, eclipses bring emotions to the surface. You have to respond, not react. Remember that eclipses bring out our childlike qualities, where we might want to throw a tantrum, where we might want to explode, where we might want to cut somebody off, cut somebody out. Can't do that. Can't do that. We've got to keep our head. We've got to be emotionally intelligent. We have to step forward knowing that there's a new day coming. So our job this week is to pay lots of attention to what's going on, to the energies, to our feelings. Feel your feelings, connect with yourself, listen to your intuition. Mercury and Venus are going to be conjunct in Aries on Tuesday. Remember I said Mercury's going retrograde on Venus. Mercury's going to conjunct Venus Tuesday, 6:55 p.m. Eastern Time, daylight time. And we need to pay attention to what the information is that they are exchanging that day. We need to tune in, listen very well, get connected, because they have a conversation happening. Now, the interesting thing is they're not going to be far from each other. Mercury's getting very slow to turn around on Saturday the 15th and be retrograde. And they are going to remain very close to one another in their retrogrades, but they aren't really going to conjunct precisely exactly again. But they have a lot to say to one another. And actually, they are going to give us the opportunity to express our feelings, to identify and be able to talk about our feelings, what we're experiencing, how we are processing all of this. Mercury gives a voice to this, which is really important. And if you can express your feelings, whether you write for yourself in your journal, whether you talk with a friend, a therapist, an astrologer, this is very important for you to be getting your feelings out, talking your feelings out right now, this week. If you have something to say to someone that you've been waiting to tell them, maybe it's an I love you. Maybe it's we got to sit down and work through some details. Could be somebody at work, could be a colleague, could be your kids. But there may be something that you need to discuss with someone this week, and it's feelings and it's emotions and it's things you just haven't reckoned with yet. Connecting to that Tuesday and onward is very important. Now, The ruler of the eclipse is Mercury. The day after the eclipse, 24 hours after the eclipse in Virgo, Mercury will turn around. So Mercury is going to be stationing, getting slow the day of the eclipse. So this is very important. The eclipse ruler is Mercury, and it's stationing to go retrograde. This is more about going internally, stepping within, quiet reflection, meditation, connecting with things, feeling into and contemplating what's happening for you right now. There's a lot of confusion in the world. How is this affecting you? How is your life affecting you? What's going on in your life that's profound and powerful in this moment? What does it feel like for you? What's your intuition telling you? This is, we do best by contemplating all of this. This is asking us to do some contemplation. Very important to really work through this and stay connected to our thoughts and our feelings, not flying off the handle. If someone tells you something you don't like, if you have a discussion that is uncomfortable, you don't react, you step back and go process this and then come back to the person. But you might want to let the person know, hey, look, this isn't great for me right now. I need to go process all of this. No quick decisions. Mercury's going retrograde. It'll be retrograde till April 7th. We don't make quick decisions on this. We take our time and we process, and we get to know ourselves a little deeper during this time. We've got Venus and Mercury together, retrograde, and they're very close to one another. There's information about feelings, about emotions. That's important for us. It's significant for us to really pay attention to this, okay? I can't stress this enough. Eclipses are always going to bring things up that are lying underneath the surface. They bring emotions to the core. They bring emotions to the table. They bring out things to the forefront that maybe we haven't looked at, maybe we haven't dealt with, and we need to use our energies towards them now. So much happening this week. This is one of those big weeks of the year. And I just recommend taking it one step at a time, one day at a time, and just stay close to yourself. If you need help, I'm here. This is what I do. I'm here to help you through these processes. There's a lot of psychology involved in this. What do you believe in? What do you believe about yourself? That's, Neptune right there. What do you believe in? What do you believe about you? What do you believe about this situation that you find yourself in this moment? How can you navigate things differently? What do you believe is happening to you in this moment? How are you transforming? So what is this telling you about your life? I'm available to have sessions with you as you process this, as you navigate this, as we go through these months and months of this same energy of Pisces-Aries, Aries-Pisces, this whole dance we're going to be experiencing. I'm available through my website, goldenastrologer.com. I'm here on my podcast. I am on Instagram. I haven't been a lot on Instagram lately because I'm busy. I've been actually my own things going on, but I'm going to be on Instagram probably more this week, and that's the Golden Astrologer also. If you feel you need a session, you just book it on my website. Go to book online. You can also connect with me through email, info@thegoldenastrologer.com, deb@debmcbride.com. I also do Reiki. Reiki is very powerful to help clear up obstacles, go into spirit, connect with the energies there, get support and assistance, talk to your higher self, connect with that, do some healing. I'm also available for expansion mentoring that will take you through the deeper cycles of what we're experiencing now. So there's, the experience of 3 months, there's 6 months, there's 12 months you can do with me. You can certainly sign up for that, and we'll go into a deep dive of how to navigate all that's happening this year. I welcome you to all of that. So it's all available on my website, thegoldenastrologer.com. And I hope you can take advantage of those things. I'm here on this podcast every week. I hope you have a beautiful week ahead. I hope you have a wonderful eclipse. I hope it's enlightening, it's beautiful, it's not stressful. And I will see you this week on the internet. Thank you so much for listening. Gratitude, much gratitude to each and every one of you. Thank you for listening. Have a gorgeous week.